Hello, I'm Jill Tipping, and joining us today is Judi Hess, CEO of Copperleaf. Judi, as companies scale up, what is the secret sauce of scale-up success?
You really need to be properly capitalized. I think that is a piece of the secret sauce. You really need the money to grow the business and hire the right people, create the team, and giving up some ownership in the company is how you get properly capitalized for the most part. I think the next thing is you have to have a great team to be able to drive a company forward because it isn't simple, and you have to build a great culture. I think you need to put together a vision for the company so you can see where you're going, because if you don't have a strategy that's executable by your team, you actually don't have a strategy. When you are looking at total addressable market, it really needs to be a market of $1 billion a year or more.
Who do you connect with as a CEO to get advice and guidance?
I would say that who I go to for advice and discussions is obviously the board. The board has been great. The board is really important. You want to make sure that you have people on your board that can help you with that and can give you advice if you need it, and that you build a relationship with the board. Another thing that I do is I have a few CEOs in Vancouver that are CEOs of high-tech companies that I meet with once a month. In my case, they're all females. And then on top of all of that, I like to get advice from the co-op students that are in the company, from the millennials that are at Copperleaf, like kind of like an upside down or a reverse advice. The buck stops with you, and you're responsible to deliver all of those numbers all the time. So it is sometimes a bit of a lonely pursuit.
What does the leadership team need to be aware of when scaling?
The most important thing is ensuring we have the right leadership team, and that leadership team understands the vision and the strategic and annual goals that we have and the objectives, and they're very, very clear on what has to happen. Because, if you don't know what the finish line is, how are you going to get there? So you really need to be really, really clear, but you really need to have this strong leadership. And you need to have a little more guidance and guidelines than you might have had in the past. This year, at the beginning of the year, I moved the company into a regional focus and like a Vancouver hub. So we have the European, Europe, Middle East and Africa region. We have Asia Pacific and Japan, and we have Americas. And then we have the hub, which is like the corporate kind of side of the company. And when you break the company into those pieces, you have to make sure that you have really strong regional leadership. They have to be able to effectively grow the company in that region. They need a lot of information, to be able to do that. And now, of course, I'm very focused on succession planning and how do we create that continuity in the company. That is very, very, very important. And planning for those high potential people in your organization so that they can get the right training and they can move up the ladder to take on those leadership positions. But really the most successful succession planning you can do is internally, and bring their expertise to bear. But you need enough so that you can ensure the continuity of the organization.
Thank you, Judi, for joining us today. As so many companies begin to scale up, this advice is just phenomenal.